Dr. Tufts, you are presently a psychiatrist, correct?
Correct.
And can you tell me where you went to med school?
University of Vermont.
And what were the years that you were at University of Vermont?
2014 to 2018.
Beautiful country up there. Great place to live, right?
It is. It's beautiful.
And when you graduated from med school, you then did your residency?
Correct.
And where was the residency?
Boston Medical Center.
And can you tell me, what is it exactly that you do as a psychiatric resident or a psychiatrist resident? What do you do?
You do a lot of different things. You rotate in all the different aspects of psychiatry, as well as internal medicine, so that you have a foundational knowledge of broad medical topics. You admit patients into the inpatient hospital. You manage emergencies in the hospital and in the emergency room, decide whether patients need to be admitted psychiatrically or not, and also carry a panel of outpatients.
And is this a hospital that you're working in, or is it Boston University? Is it a medical center?
So yes, it's the Boston University program located at the hospital, Boston Medical Center, with also a lot of time spent at the various Boston VA locations.
And what were the years, I'm sorry, that you did your residency?
2018 to 2022.
So you basically were working as either a person studying to be a doctor, graduating, and then becoming a resident through the entire pandemic.
For the first part of the pandemic, yes.
The pandemic ended when Joe Biden said it ended. I think it was July of 2022, right?
I'm not sure exactly when he said that.
Would you agree with me that when the pandemic started, around 2019, when you began your residency, 2020, 21, into 22, it was a large portion, if you will, of the pandemic time frame?
Yes.
All right. And we all had to walk around with masks and have no contact with people and make sure you have 6-foot radius before you touch anybody, all of that, right?
Yes.
How did that impact your residency?
Well, I still went into the hospital most of the time, wearing the proper protective equipment, but I absolutely still provided the necessary medical care that was needed. And some of the outpatient experiences were done via telemedicine.
Telemedicine?
Yes.
That's like a television screen. Like a Zoom or something?
It's Zoom or something similar.
Did you touch people, shake their hand, give them a hug, anything like that while you were working in your residency during the pandemic?
Sometimes, not, I think everybody had to keep their distance at certain times. I began my program before the pandemic, so of course there was a lot more handshaking and things like that then.
You can't really keep your distance, though, when you're working as a labor and delivery nurse with a woman who's having a baby directly in front of you, can you?
I imagine not.
So, when you finished, did you graduate from a residency, or is it like you get a certificate or something?
Yes, there is a certificate for completing it.
And then, at that point, you are now a licensed doctor? Is that how it works?
Well, you're actually a licensed doctor the entire time that you're in residency. But upon the completion of that, you can obtain a full, unrestricted Massachusetts license and also become board certified.
And the board certification, for example, you have a board certification in general psychiatry, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when was it that you got that certification?
When was it?
Yes.
It was September 12th, 2022.
When was it that you actually started working as a physician, as a psychiatrist?
I started working as a physician and as a psychiatrist during the residency training program, but I started practicing completely independently at Astor Mental Health in August of 2022.
August of 2022.
Yes.
Now, prior to working with or at Astor, is that ASTOR or ER?
ASTER, like the flower.
And what is Astor? What is it, like a group of doctors? Is it a medical center? What is it?
It is a outpatient practice that is owned by a psychiatrist. It has a number of psychiatrists as well as therapists.
And where is it located? Is it a brick and mortar type place where you have offices?
Yes, the original offices were in Braintree, Massachusetts, and now there's an office in Peabody as well.
Your office, where do you work?
So at the time I saw the patient, I was working in the Braintree office. I currently work in Peabody.
Where, I'm sorry?
Currently in Peabody, Massachusetts.
So when you start working at Astor, obviously like anybody else, you submit a resume, an application, you perhaps, and then they hire you, right?
It's a fairly lengthy process and a number of interviews with different staff at the practice, and some recommendations, letters of reference, verification of credentials, all of that. But yes, it can be comparable to another profession in that process.
Now, in August of 22, when you, congratulations, obviously you were hired by Astor, how many women had you treated in your residency that were postpartum?
With postpartum depression? Or just in the postpartum period?
How many women that were in the postpartum period did you treat prior to August of 22?
Many. It's hard to give an exact number, but I did have specific training in that population.
In that population. And where did you have the training in that population?
At Boston Medical Center.
And can you tell us in that 2-year period approximately how many women that were in the postpartum period that you treated as a resident?
Okay, so it's really hard to give an exact number, but if I had to say, at least 50.
So in the 2-year period, you treated 50 people in the residency that had postpartum. And can you tell me, what is postpartum? What does that mean?
Well, I just want to address that it was a 4-year period, not a 2-year period.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So
And sorry, what was your question?
Hold on. You saw 50 people in a 4-year period that had postpartum. In other words, they had been after having a baby, right?
Possibly, yeah, more or less. I saw a number of other patients. I saw much more than 50, but yes.
So after you had your residency and after you were hired by Astor, is that when you began in August of 22 your practice as a practicing psychiatrist?
Yes.
And when was it that you actually got your DEA license that authorizes you to prescribe medication to citizens?
So during residency, I had a DEA license, but it was affiliated with the with Boston Medical Center. And then when I started at Astor, I had my own DEA number. I don't know exactly when, maybe sometime around August.
So August of 22, you start working at Astor. August of 22, you got your DEA license individually that authorized you to prescribe medication, correct?
Yes.
And it was when that you saw Lindsay Clancy?
I believe our first visit was September 15th.
Of?
2022.
So you were practicing as a psychiatrist for a little more than a month.
I was practicing independently with my full credentials for about a month, but the training is just immense that goes on before that.
Absolutely, it must be. But that's a residency that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
And you know, in a residency, I mean, all I know is Grey's Anatomy, but I mean, you're working under a doctor, the doctors are supervising you, and they tell you what to do, and then you report to them, correct?
They don't really tell you what to do. They're there as a resource if you need additional support. But I followed many of my own patients. I was the only person in the room with them. And, my notes were signed off by an attending physician, and that attending was available for any support I needed.
So in August of 22, when you started working at Astor, you actually filled out a form for your advertising. Is that correct?
I believe that was handled by other people at the practice.
And who would that be?
Well, we have non-clinical staff that handle the administrative matters.
Okay, but you're a doctor and you're out there to the public. You're advertising yourself and your services to the public. Is that fair?
I believe yes. I'm not directing the marketing of our office, but yes.
Okay, never mind your office. I'm talking about you. You had an ad that was on the computer that if somebody wanted to reach out to a doctor, they could see your ad amongst many others, right?
Well, I don't think there was an ad. I think we have a website that had some information about myself.
Okay. Now, in August of 22, up until when you saw Lindsay, how many patients in that month or so had you treated for postpartum psychosis?
How many patients in a month? Up until that
Yeah,
month?
I'm asking you about when you started working in August of 22 for Astor, and you are now on your own as an employee. How many patients had you treated before you saw Lindsay Clancy for postpartum psychosis?
Well, in the span of 1 month, I would say none because it's a very rare disorder.
Okay. But it exists, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And one of the things would be the voices that people hear, right?
That is a symptom of psychosis, absolutely.
And that's legitimate, isn't it?
It is a legitimate diagnosis, absolutely.
No, not the diagnosis. People that have postpartum psychosis hear voices, do they not?
Many do. The disorder can manifest differently in different people, but yes, many people do hear voices.
How about postpartum depression? How many people in that month or so before you met Lindsay did you treat for postpartum depression?
In the span of 1 month, it's really hard to pinpoint that. Maybe a couple.
Maybe a couple? And do you recall how long you treated them for?
Again, it's hard to really pin down the individuals in a short span of time.
Can you tell the jury what you put in your ad or in the Astor website that you indicated that described you?
I don't recall.
Well, one of the things you did is that you said that you basically were a specialist in postpartum, people that have postpartum psychiatry. You indicated that on your website, didn't you?
Are you able to read the actual document? I don't remember exactly the wording.
Well, you've been working now for how many years now? 3 since you saw Lindsay? Or more?
Almost 4, yes.
You haven't changed your ad on the website, have you?
I have not personally, no.
And you've read it probably a bunch of times, right?
I've read it a couple times, but I don't spend a lot of time on my website.
Okay. Do you recall that you indicated that you were specializing in any particular aspect of psychiatry?
Yes. It probably includes a special interest in women's health, in perinatal psychiatry, in trauma-related disorders, anxiety, and there may be some other things that were mentioned.
Yeah, like women that have babies and they're suffering from postpartum depression. Right?
Absolutely.
You advertised that after a month in working for Astor, right?
That's listed as one of my interests, definitely.
And again, forgive me, how many women did you treat for postpartum depression in that month and a half before you met Lindsay?
I don't know, maybe a couple. But I've treated many of them in the residency, which was just immediately before.
So when a person needs to see a psychiatrist, generally they're not well. Is that fair?
Some are not well. It really can vary.
So when someone comes to see a psychiatrist like you, it's because they need help, right?
Yes.
And when they come to you because they need help, for example, with Lindsay Clancy, she came to you because of your ad, right? Or your website for Asta, what you said about yourself.
I don't know exactly how she found us.
Well, do you know why she came to see you?
I'm not sure exactly.
Friday, we spent a long period of time going through your initial or the initial intake that she had to fill out. Is that correct? You recall that?
Yes, we did.
And the district attorney kept asking you, and this is in September, is it September 12th? Is that when that form was filled out?
I believe she completed the form on the 12th. The appointment was on the 15th.
So what does a person do? Do they call you or do they talk to somebody in administration? How do you get the form to fill out?
Yes, our administration handles that.
And what do they do? How does that happen?
They send them the documents, probably by email, and the patient fills them out. Actually, it might be all within the portal that we use.
Within the portal?
The patient portal, yes.
Okay, and that means that you go online and you can access Astor Mental Health, and then all these little drop-down boxes would come up?
Something like that.
Are you aware? Is something like that, or are you aware of what it does?
So because I don't handle the scheduling and the sending of forms, I don't know exactly what it looks like.
Well, this is the form that you're giving a person that needs help because they're possibly mentally ill. Is that right?
Yes, and what's important is that I review the forms and we go through them in the appointment. Absolutely. Yes.
Now, understand that your records, Exhibit 219, I believe, the jury will have access to the Tufts records. Okay, you're aware of that, right? You know it's an exhibit.
Yes.
Because you have talked to the prosecution about what an exhibit is, and you know that your records are now in evidence before this jury, right?
If that's what you say, yes.
I wouldn't take what I say.
Well, I
If you don't
don't
know,
really,
that's fine.
I don't know the details of how this works.
All right.
But
Have you talked to them prior to your testimony?
no,
You haven't talked to the DA's office?
no, not at all.
You're a defendant in a very large lawsuit, are you not?
Yes.
You wouldn't happen to be represented by an attorney, would you?
I am.
And the fact that you have an attorney is your right under the Constitution. It doesn't mean that you're guilty of anything, right?
Right.
Okay. And you know that the outcome of this case is very, very major to the outcome of your lawsuit. Is that right? Oh.
I don't actually know that.
So you understand that if, in fact, it's determined that you advertised as an expert in postpartum and in postpartum psychiatry, and you've had a month experience plus a residency, would you consider that to be negligent or misrepresentation?
I do not believe that I have been negligent.
Do you understand what misrepresentation means?
Yes.
With a month under your belt plus your residency, do you really want this jury to believe that you were an expert? Can you advertise that?
I don't think that's exactly the wording that I used. I think I said that it was an interest of mine.
You will what?
The answer.
No, go ahead. Good, you answer that.
I just think the wording was that it's an interest of mine. I don't believe I called myself an expert.
Are you an expert in postpartum?
I I may be. I don't know. I think it depends on what you define an expert as.
Well, when a patient comes to you and they fill out the form, you agree with me that your records reflect that form that she filled out on September 12th of 2022, right?
Yes.
And the form that the district attorney went through painstakingly with you is basically, it looks something like this, right? That's one of the forms that you have people fill out, right? Right?
Yes.
You see the little check mark?
Yes.
Who puts the check mark in there?
The patient.
So how many pages, because I don't want to go through all the pages again, how many pages does a patient, well, how many pages did Lindsay go through to check the boxes for acid?
There were a lot of pages.
It was a lot, 10, 20?
Yeah, maybe between 10 and 20.
Okay. And basically, they're all little checks in boxes, correct?
Not just checks.
No? So does the person then answer questions by typing in an answer such as, do you have any pending legal problems? No. Have you ever been arrested? No. Things of that nature, right?
Those are some of the questions.
And the questions also, do they ask the patient what medications they were on
Yes.
before seeing you?
Yes.
And Lindsay told you that she was on SSRIs in the past, right?
Yes.
And SSRI means what?
A selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
And that's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it?
It's an effective treatment for depression and anxiety.
Well, it affects the serotonin levels in the brain, doesn't it?
Yes.
It rewires the brain, doesn't it?
It doesn't rewire the brain. It increases the serotonin, and many individuals with depression have low levels of serotonin.
So Lindsay told you that she had been prescribed an SSRI when she was in nursing school. Is that right?
Yes.
What was the SSRI?
Prozac.
And how long was she on the Prozac?
I'm not sure.
Never asked.
I probably asked.
Probably asked. Isn't it true? Don't you guys have a saying that if it's not written, it didn't happen? You take copious notes, do you not?
It's impossible to write down every single thing that's said, so I write down what is clinically relevant, clinically necessary, but there's a lot that is discussed over an hour that is not able to be written down.
Such as the fact that a person was on an SSRI when they were in nursing school is not an important fact to find out.
Oh, no, that's important. Sorry.
No problem. I'm not doing, the Sophie Cunningham at you. I'm just asking a question, that's all, and you can answer it, okay? How about if she had a reaction to Prozac?
I asked her about the Prozac.
Is that written in your notes?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said that she took it for a period of time. She didn't mention any side effects.
Oh, she didn't tell you that she had side effects. I see. So when a patient comes to see you with a month under your belt and they're sick and they're looking for help, you wait for them to volunteer facts to you?
She volunteered a lot of information. She knew very well what her medical history was and was able to provide that for me.
Such as what? That she was in nursing school and took Prozac?
That's part of it.
And she told you that, right?
Yes.
And she was pretty upfront and honest with you, wasn't she, in answering these questions, right?
I believe that she was.
We all spent some time talking about the fact that she declared that she had consumed alcohol, that she felt guilty about it. You recall that on Friday? We dwelled on that for a while, didn't we?
Yes, that was a component, yes.
I mean, that's something that's important, right?
Yes.
What was her drink of choice?
I'm not sure.
Did you ever ask her?
I'm not sure. We were not concerned that her level of alcohol use
Well, the PA certainly was Friday, right?
All right, everybody knows. Doctor, wait for the question, all right? And then same thing, I'll have counsel wait until you finish your answer, all right? Go ahead, Ms. Reddington.
So is it important, doctor, for you as a physician to know your patient? In other words, know who they are?
Yes.
And you knew that Lindsay was a nurse, correct?
Yes.
You knew that she graduated, obviously, from college, right?
Yes.
Is she a good student?
I don't recall.
Do you know when she got married?
I don't recall
Did you
that
ask her?
specific detail. I don't know. I knew she was married.
She had 3 kids, right?
Yes.
And the reason that you knew that she was married is because you spoke to her husband, Patrick, correct? Or did you?
Sorry?
Or did you?
He attended one of the appointments, and I spoke with him on that date.
Ah. And did you say, hi, how are you? And give him a handshake when you came in your office?
It was telemedicine.
It was what?
Telemedicine.
Telemedicine. Is it fair to say that after, 14, you said to the jury, 14 appointments that you had with Lindsay during that period from September till January? 14 appointments?
Yes.
Every single one of them were by telemedicine, weren't they?
Yes.
Until you came in this courtroom Friday, you never saw this woman in person, did you?
Correct.
Were you ever concerned about her mental health as a person?
Absolutely.
She was crying. She told you symptoms that she couldn't get out of bed. Isn't that right?
At one time, she said it was difficult to get out of bed
Oh, difficult to get out. Why was it difficult for Lindsay Clancy to get out of bed?
because she was very depressed.
And did you give her a hug? Oh, no, you're on telemedicine, so you couldn't give her a hug, could you? You didn't have any chance to even look at her in person, did you?
I could look at her. It was always a video appointment. I couldn't give her a hug, but that's not actually something that psychiatrists typically do with patients.
I imagine. Now, I'm looking at you, and you've got the witness stand cutting you off in half, right? So I can't see from your waist down, your legs, your feet, your hands, anything. That's the same view that you have on the telemedicine, right?
Yes.
Isn't it fair to say that you've studied and that you've learned that there are objective manifestations that patients may have that would be a tell, like if you're playing poker, you have a tell, that would be an indicia of the fact that they're stressed or emotionally disturbed, right?
Yes.
Like hand wringing, right?
Yes.
Were you able to see the hands wringing when you were on telemedicine?
I don't recall seeing her hands.
You recall, you know how people sit there and they do this with their leg and the leg bounces because they're going through some type of emotional stress? You couldn't even see her legs, could you?
I couldn't see her legs, but I knew that she was under stress.
So when she came to you, September 15th, I believe, is the first time that you all actually discussed her condition, correct?
Yes.
And looking at the medical records, which the jury will be able to look at, it says, visit date, September 15th, 2022, and you can look along with me if you wish, indicates why she came to see you, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Why did she come to see you? According, not guessing and speculating, never mind the TV. You just look at your notes. Tell me what brought Lindsay Clancy to your office.
Postpartum anxiety.
Is that it? Is that what you noted in the records?
Well, those were her words when asked, what are the problems for which you are seeking help?
I see. Postpartum anxiety. Now, as a psychiatrist, meeting with this young woman after a month or so of working as a psychiatrist for Astor, there are tests that you administer to a woman who's in postpartum to find out what type of anxiety they have, right?
Well, there are some screening tests, but the most important thing is what the patient tells you and what my assessment is in the session.
I see. And that would carry through the Tufts evaluations for all 14 of those meetings, is what the patient tells you, right?
Yes, and what I observe in the session
Through the television.
through the computer.
What, if you can tell me, is the Edinburgh test?
It is a scale that looks at symptoms of postpartum depression.
And when you administer, that's a major test, isn't it, for a doctor to evaluate a patient for PPD?
I wouldn't say it's a major test.
It's a pretty big one, though, isn't it? It's the only one that measures the postpartum depression, right?
It's a common one.
It's a what?
Commonly used.
Commonly. All right, so when you used it on Lindsay, when was that administered to her?
I did not use it on Lindsay.
Why?
We used the PHQ-9, which
What
is
the PHQ-9?
it's a depression screening form.
That's like generalized anxiety disorder, general depression. It's got nothing to do with a woman suffering from postpartum depression, does it?
I disagree.
Well, do you agree that people perhaps that may know a little more than you determined that the Edinburgh scale is the appropriate scale to administer to a pregnant or postpartum woman?
Objection.
Sustained as the form.
You're familiar with the Edinburgh scale, right?
I've heard of it.
And can you explain to me how it's graded?
No, I cannot.
There are 30 questions in it, are there not?
I don't use this scale, so I don't know how many questions there are.
So the Edinburgh scale, do you even know that the cutoff for someone that is depressed in their condition of postpartum would be 15? Anything over that, they're in severe depression?
Okay.
You know that her first Edinburgh test that was administered to her put her at a 23
Objection.
Overall.
severe depression?
I was not aware of this test. I was not aware that this had been administered to her.
Well, you know that except for the Prozac that she had when she was a nurse, what, 23, 24, 23 years old, she hadn't, other than seeing her own doctor for having a baby, she hadn't seen any doctors. You knew that, right?
I didn't know exactly which doctor she sees. I think we ask about your primary care doctor, but she did not report any other medical issues that she was under treatment for.
So is it important for Dr. Jennifer Tufts to know whether or not a patient who is coming to you for help has a prior medical history other than what they might tell you?
Well, when patients are able to advocate for themselves and share their medical history, we rely on what they tell us.
Was she able to advocate for herself, in your opinion, when she came to see you, when you evaluated her in September?
Absolutely.
How about October?
Yes.
How about November?
Yes.
How about December?
Yes.
And your medical records, you would agree, show that during that period of time that she was deteriorating, was a word that was used on Friday. Isn't that right? No, so. You used the word deteriorating on Friday, did you not?
She was a little bit worse at certain appointments, and the deteriorating word, which is not my word choice, is what is in the note because I had to select that.
Because why? You have some kind of a program that you have to check the box and you have to bring down the drop box? You can't take a pen and write something down about a patient?
There are certain parts of the note where I can write whatever I feel is necessary, but that specific aspect of the note is a button where you have to click one of three choices.
So when the jury's going through your medical records, one of the things that they're going to see is that when you meet with the patient, you have a form that you fill out where it says, if you feel like you're going to harm yourself or somebody else, make sure you go to the emergency room, right?
Yes.
If you have any urges to harm yourself or others, go to the nearest emergency room. That's in every single time that you meet with a patient, right?
Yes.
And it indicates that if there's any, call the Suicide Prevention and Crisis Hotline. If you feel that you're in crisis, you may text home to a particular number anytime. What's a suicide hotline?
It's a phone number that patients in crisis can call and speak to a trained counselor.
Now, a psychiatrist, you'd agree with me, is not a counselor, that's for sure, right?
Well, a psychiatrist has training in therapy as well as in medicine.
Did you give Lindsay Clancy any therapy?
There was some therapy incorporated in our sessions,
Like
but
what?
we did.
Like what?
Providing emotional support, listening to her.
Hold on, no, please.
Finish her answer.
Hold
she can't.
on, hold on, everybody.
Sorry, Judge.
She can. You ask the question,
Sustain.
we're going to let her finish, and then you can follow up with any questions you want. Go ahead, Doc.
Anything else you want to say?
So her sessions were largely focused on the medication management, but there was an aspect of therapy including those items.
Okay, and the sessions were for what, 17 minutes?
No,
How long were they?
25 to 30 minutes.
So 25 to 30 minutes on the television, and were you face the TV screen with her for the full 25 minutes?
Yes.
And that's not noted in your records. It says 17 minutes on all your records, doesn't it?
So if you look closely, it says the therapy component was for 17 minutes. It doesn't say the entire duration is 17 minutes.
So what do you do when you're trying to give therapy as a psychiatrist to a patient that came to see you? What do you do? What do you do for therapy?
It depends on the person.
Well, how about Lindsay Clancy? What did you do for therapy with her?
I listened to her. I listened to her concerns and provided support. I tried to provide her with hope that eventually things would improve.
So you listened to her concerns, and you'd agree with me that her concerns were, for example, that she actually was unable to sleep. Was one of her concerns, right?
She was having a lot of difficulty with sleep.
On the September 15th meeting, you indicate that her mood was okay, but her affect was anxious, and you called it incongruent. What does that mean?
So she said she was feeling okay. She appeared anxious, and she also stated that she was anxious.
So one of the things that you talked about Friday is when a patient presents with an incongruent something or other, I don't remember, appearance perhaps, that would mean that they're saying, I'm okay, but they don't look like they're okay, right?
Well, it could. I don't think her affect and her mood were really that incongruent at that time. I think that she didn't appear terribly depressed. I didn't say she was terribly depressed in that initial visit, but she said she was anxious and she appeared anxious. That's pretty congruent.
Okay. So did you put in the report that she was congruent or incongruent?
So that is not an option for me to indicate in that section, but
So-
it was congruent.
you're like a robot. You can't take a pen and write something down. You have to do the drop box and the X's on the computer.
Well, if it's on the computer, I'm limited by the options that are up there
You're a doctor. Why are you limited?
because of the technology.
What technology? The fact that there's a form on a computer? You're trying to treat a human being who comes to you for help.
And that's what's most important. What's most important was the treatment, not what is checked off on a box.
Makes sense. So you were unable to make a note as to whether or not her affect and her mood appeared to be in conflict, and that she would have been incongruent, and that she had poor insight. You couldn't write that down. Is that right? Because the box doesn't let you.
Correct.
So basically, she's telling you that I'm okay. Well, actually, when she came, do you know that she never saw, other than when she was in nursing school, would it surprise you, a psychiatrist? And that was only for like a week when she got the Prozac in nursing school because she was afraid of public speaking? Did you know that?
I was aware that she did not have a significant past psychiatric history. I was aware of that.
Okay, so you were the first psychiatrist that she had the pleasure of meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think it was.
And isn't that important for you as a doctor to take a history?
I did take a history.
So can you tell us? You're testifying here for the government. Tell us whether or not she had any past psychiatric history other than in nursing school for a week with the Prozac.
She did not report any other past psychiatric history other than the Prozac and Wellbutrin.
So when a patient comes to see you and you're treating to help that patient, if they don't report something to you, you don't know about it apparently, right?
Well, I think it depends. There are certainly things I can assess, but if it's related to their history, I do need them to tell me.
Well, you can't assess it unless you ask, right?
Unless I ask, or they volunteer it, or they
Of
fill
course,
it
we
out in
already talked
forms.
about the volunteering. How about you as a doctor, when you're evaluating a patient coming to you for help, do you ask them questions?
Yes,
You didn't ask her prior history.
I did.
What did she tell you?
She said that her prior history was what we discussed about the Prozac in the nursing school.
So, basically, other than hoping to give her hope, is what you said, for the therapy. How do you give someone hope for therapy? The other doctor.
Try to encourage them and...
What did you encourage her on September 15th?
Sorry?
What did you encourage her to give her hope on September 15th?
What did I encourage her?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the words. It was
Did you write
almost
it
4
down in
years
your
ago.
records?
No, we don't write those details of everything
Well, that's the
that was
therapy
said.
you're talking about, right? Yes?
Yes.
And you don't write down the therapy you give a patient in the records, right?
Well, I write something about it.
You write it
I
down,
mentioned
not-
that.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
So yes or no?
Hold on. You gotta let her finish the question. If you listen to the question and answer just what they asked, okay? Go ahead. You could rephrase that question, Counsel.
No, I'll let her answer it.
All right.
I mentioned that I provided supportive therapy.
What is supportive therapy?
It's listening to the patient's concerns and providing emotional support and validation.
So emotional support and validation, all sounds good. Here's a young woman who was what, 20, 29, 30 years old, came to see you?
Yes.
And came to see you for help, right?
Yes.
Told you she couldn't sleep and she was anxious, correct?
Yes.
You know that she was postpartum, correct?
Yes.
You know that as a patient who was postpartum. By the way, what is your opinion of the period of postpartum wherein one can have postpartum depression or, more importantly, postpartum psychosis? What's the time frame?
It's typically 1 year.
So she was well within that time frame, correct?
Yes.
And you tried to provide therapy by giving her hope. And how long do you figure did that take? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes?
I'm not sure. I think it was different in each session.
Okay. So the only thing that you diagnosed Lindsay with on September 15th was GAD, Generalized Anxiety Disorder, correct?
It was generalized anxiety disorder as well as an adjustment disorder with depressed mood.
And you prescribed medications to her, right?
Yes.
And the medication that you provided to her was the sertraline, right?
Yes.
And the sertraline would be Zoloft, right?
Yes.
Now, this is a little chart that shows the prescriptions that Lindsay was on. And you are the yellow colors. They're the tops. Okay. You can see that. Do you agree with me that on September 15th you prescribed sertraline, Zoloft, 30 count on September 15th, 25 milligrams, right?
Yes.
Have you ever read the website for sertraline?
The website for sertraline?
Yeah. I mean, sertraline, Zoloft, is a chemical that is marketed as a pharmaceutical, right?
Yes.
Right? It's a pill, right?
Yes.
And as we said, it's an SSRI pill, correct?
Yes.
Do you know that Zoloft is not indicated for generalized anxiety? Why'd you give her Zoloft?
It is a very effective medication for generalized anxiety disorder.
So you're familiar with the drug labeling for Zoloft, is that correct?
Generally.
Generally. Are you aware of what the manufacturer of Zoloft indicates it can be used for, to treat?
I'm aware that it's used to treat various forms of anxiety disorders as well as major depression.
So when Lindsay came to see you, you know that she had stopped breastfeeding her son, right?
Not at the time of the first appointment.
When did she stop breastfeeding? In October?
Something around then.
You know that she had little or no psychiatric history other than seeing you, correct?
And the Prozac, yes.
You know that, in fact, that she had stopped drinking whatever it was that she was drinking, because you never asked, right?
I was not concerned about her level of drinking.
Well, it's in your form, right?
That was at the intake, but
Did you know that she wasn't drinking when you were meeting with her, correct?
Yeah, that's what she told me.
Okay, and you believe what she told you, right?
Yes.
So when she sees you, she's not on any psychiatric anti-tropics or whatever they're called medications, correct? She wasn't on any medication.
Correct.
And she had stopped drinking anything, whatever it may have been, right?
I'm not sure when she completely stopped drinking, but yes.
You don't know when she started, when she stopped, what she drank, do you?
Well, I was not concerned that she was an alcoholic.
That's a yes or no. Did you have any idea? Because we spent a long time on Friday talking about her guilt and that she drank alcohol. You don't know what she drank, when she started, when she stopped, do you?
I know some details about her alcohol use, but it was overall minimal.
What were the details then? Tell me what the details were. There was that one little box that was checked off. What other details were there?
That she drank 1 to 2 times a week, 1 to 2 servings 5 times a week.
And you don't know what it was? You have no idea, right?
I think she had mentioned at some point that it was calming. It was something that was helpful.
I'm sorry.
Calming.
Calming. Okay,
Calming.
so it was numbing. It was like trying to numb something, I guess, right?
That's one way of saying it.
I mean, you've treated I imagine you've treated veterans that had post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that many times when people have an anxiety disorder or PTSD or whatever the case may be, they try to numb their feelings? Is that fair?
Sometimes they do.
And sometimes they use alcohol, right?
Sometimes they do.
But we don't know what alcohol. She wouldn't even know if it was a beer, do we?
I didn't think that was relevant for her.
So, with all of that, with that information, you then prescribed Zoloft to her, correct?
Yes.
You went over the side effects of Zoloft, sertraline, I imagine, with her, right?
Yes.
Did you tell her that one of the known side effects is suicidal thoughts and actions and ideation?
Well, that's specifically in children, so I don't think I mentioned that because it wasn't relevant.
Not really. Suicidal ideation and homicidal ideation is a black box warning on Zoloft, along with other SSRIs, right?
Under
Yes
age,
or no?
for children and adults younger than Lindsay.
Excuse me, doctor, I apologize. Can you just listen to my question and answer it yes or no? Is there a black box warning on Zoloft?
Yes.
Okay. And a black box warning is required or prescribed by what? The FDA?
Probably.
Probably. And it basically warns that, especially with young people or young adults, that it may cause suicidal or, God forbid, homicidal ideation. Yes?
Yes.
And you're aware that, in fact, the FDA has determined that that goes up possibly to a 23, 24, 25-year-old. You know that, right?
I think 24 is
24.
what they
Yeah,
said.
I'll give you 24. It's possible, is it not, that the SSRIs that get into a person's brain affect a person that's 3 or 4 years older than the FDA cutoff with suicidal ideation or homicidal ideation? It's possible?
There's a lot of development that happens in the brain between ages like up to 24 and closer to 30. The brain is fully matured at past age 24, and so it's less vulnerable than in a younger individual.
So with 24, you're suggesting as a cutoff, are you suggesting to the jury that a drug that increases the risk of suicide in a 24-year-old patient cannot increase the risk of suicide in a 29 or a 30-year-old patient? Just a little bit.
I don't believe there's evidence that it causes that at all in individuals over 24.
So, as a psychiatrist who had the ability to issue these types of medications to patients and citizens, what research did you do on Zoloft and suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation?
I was taught extensively about SSRIs and suicidal ideation in my training.
Right?
In Vermont, in Boston, yes.
Okay, so in Vermont was when you get your medical degree, right?
Yes,
And in Boston would be when you were a resident, right?
yes,
And then you had board certification on general psychiatry, right?
yes.
You can have a certification on the subspecialty, right?
There are certain subspecialties, yes.
Right, and some of the subspecialties deal with postpartum or women that are pregnant and have babies and have psychiatric symptomology.
There's no board certification for perinatal or reproductive psychiatry.
Well, there are plenty of classes that are recognized as, for example, at Harvard Medical School, there's an annual class or symposium, if you will, for postpartum. Have you ever been to that?
No, sir.
What have you done to research or to improve your education? I understand you went to med school and that you were a resident. What programs, continuing education, symposiums have you attended since you got the ability to prescribe these medicines to people?
I have not attended a symposium.
Have you attended anything?
I have not, but I have done a lot of reading on my own, of research and guidelines about this area in psychiatry.
Did you tell Lindsay when you were going, because one of the things that you guys are always concerned about is what's called informed consent, right?
Yes.
And what is informed consent? What does that mean?
It means
In a medical sense, not just like out in the street or something.
explaining to a patient the risks and benefits of treatment and possible alternatives, and making sure that the patient understands what you're saying.
Now, when you were going over the symptomology or when you were going over the side effects of Zoloft, one of the side effects of Zoloft is, and I quote, severe trouble sleeping, right?
Yes.
Did you tell her that?
Well, insomnia is listed as a side effect.
No. You already said yes, you know it. Did you tell her that Zoloft has a side effect of giving the patient severe trouble sleeping? That's all.
So I didn't use the word severe because it typically doesn't cause severe trouble sleeping, but I thought you were referring to when she told me that she did have severe trouble sleeping,
Well,
and that
that's
was
what
true.
she told you, right? That she had severe trouble sleeping, right?
She told me, yes.
And you know that one of the side effects of Zoloft is, let's say, trouble sleeping. You know that, right?
Yes.
Your answer is yes. The jury has to be able to hear you.
Yes.
And why would you prescribe Zoloft to a young woman who's postpartum, who's coming to you with anxiety, who's telling you she can't sleep, she's got all of these symptoms, and you prescribe a medication that would have a side effect of trouble sleeping?
So individuals have very varied responses to medications. Some have no side effects, some have one or two. It's impossible to predict, but Zoloft is a top choice, a first-line medication for
Says
her.
who?
It was
Says who?
says it's the general consensus
Well, we know
among
about the lawsuits
psychiatrists.
against
Hold on,
Zoloft, right?
again, you can't have both of you talking at the same time. So let her finish her answer, and then I'll give you plenty of time to follow up any questions regarding her answer. So, you finish your answer on that?
There's extensive research supporting the use of sertraline in this instance, and the general consensus among psychiatrists is that it's a first-line safe medication for individuals, including postpartum women.
How about the kids that shoot other kids in high schools and the lawsuits that come out of that against Zoloft? You ever read about them?
Overruled.
Sorry?
You didn't hear me?
I wasn't sure what the question was.
The question was, in response to your observation about how all the psychiatrists or the psychiatrists think that it's a very, very safe, wonderful first-line drug, and you researched it. How about the kids that kill other kids in schools with the lawsuits that arise out of the use of SSRIs? Have you ever researched that?
I don't know much about that.
You know about the SSRIs and messing with someone's brain. They go out and they shoot people for no reason, right?
I'm not aware that that's linked to SSRIs.
So you didn't really talk to her about increased risk of suicide when 24-year-olds are down because she's 4 or 5 years older than that. You didn't talk to her about the trouble sleeping that can be a side effect. But she describes there's other drugs that you could have given her that would be perfectly safe and calming and allow someone with no psychiatric history to sleep better, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so you prescribed her with the Zoloft. It was 25 milligrams, right?
Yes.
And when you prescribed her with the Zoloft, 25 milligrams, was that increased up to 0.05 milligrams, or did you increase it at some point?
The instructions were to increase it to 50 after 1 week.
After 1 week.
Yes.
And you expected that she would listen to your instructions, right?
Yes.
And she did, right?
She waited about a month, but then yes, she did.
Why did she wait a month?
think it took her some time to decide whether that was truly what she wanted to do.
Right, she was afraid of the drugs, wasn't she?
She was afraid of side effects.
And she didn't want to take the pills, did she?
She eventually did want to take the pills because she wanted to feel better.
A month later, right?
Yes.
So you prescribe the Zoloft, SSRI, and then you tell her after a week to increase it, and she doesn't take that medication for a month, correct?
Correct.
And then she did take the medication, right?
Yes.
And did you meet with her or talk to her before she actually started to implement that particular regimen?
I had met with her beforehand, but I was not aware of when she made the decision to go ahead and take it.
So you met her on the 15th of September, right?
Yes.
When was the next time you met her?
Can I check?
Sure, of course, absolutely. You can look at anything you want.
September 28th.
And on September 28th, did you discuss with her the fact that she was afraid to take the Zoloft?
Yes.
And did you recommend that she do that?
Well, she said that she was feeling better at that point and wasn't
It's
sure.
a real easy question. When you
Okay.
talked with her, did you recommend that she increase or take the Zoloft?
At that visit, I don't think that I did.
Okay. So when did she actually take the Zoloft?
She told me in her October 20th visit that she had taken it 1 week prior.
And she told you that when she increased it in accordance with your instructions, she went off the rails, right?
I don't think she used those words, but she had
What words did
side
she
effects.
use for you as her doctor?
She felt awful.
Awful. Why did she feel awful? Did she have a stomach ache? Did she have a headache? Why did she feel awful?
She did have some stomach aches. She had some diarrhea and had a difficult time eating. She also had increased anxiety. She had some more depressed feelings. She had more difficulty sleeping.
And what was your advice to her as her doctor on the 28th of October, after she told you about the effect that Zoloft had on her?
I told her to stop it, stop the medication.
Okay. Now, Zoloft being an SSRI, and a patient that is taking the Zoloft, and the 0.05, we spent Friday afternoon going over the drugs, and 0.05 milligrams is the lowest dose, and all that. That's the dose that is prescribed to people, invariably, correct?
It goes up to 200, but that is a starting dose.
For pretty much all of you psychiatrists would agree with that, right? 0.05, right?
50.
50, okay. And you then told her to stop?
Yes.
What does it mean to titrate something?
To slowly increase the amount.
What do you tell patients when they're on an SSRI as to weaning them off the SSRIs?
Depends what the dose is. If it's a high dose, you need to slowly decrease the dose, so kind of the opposite of titration. But if it's a low dose to begin with, you can stop it.
Are you supposed to tell a person that's on an SSRI to stop immediately or to slowly withdraw from it?
At 50 milligrams, it is perfectly fine to stop it immediately.
So you didn't have any concerns at all about telling her to immediately stop taking the Zoloft. And what did you do? Put her on another drug?
Not immediately.
Okay. So did she relate to you on that October 28th meeting that you had? Was it the 28th or the 26th?
I met with her the 21st and then the 26th.
Okay. Now, on the 26th of October, what did she tell you her condition was?
So she was feeling back to how she was before the Zoloft, which is not great still, and that she was considering a new medication.
So she was considering it. Did she do research on medication as to what medication she wanted to take? Is that what you're telling this jury?
She didn't specify exactly what medication she wanted to take, but that she wanted to try something else because she was still having significant anxiety.
So when you say she wanted to try something else, I'm just asking, did you tell her what you recommended she try, or is that something that she decided she'd do on her own?
No, I gave her my recommendation.
Okay. The only reason why I ask that is that, a lot of times people might think that she's a psychopharmacologist, that she's a heart surgeon, that she's a vascular surgeon, that she knows everything about medicine. That's not true, is it?
No.
Would you agree with me that prior to telling her to stop the Zoloft, that one of the concerns that you had is that Zoloft affects anxiety and affects sleep, and you hope that it treats the underlying anxiety by balancing brain chemistry and increasing serotonin, right?
Yes.
Is that fair? And you'd agree with me that it does, as a side effect, have an impact on a person's falling asleep or staying asleep, as a common side effect, right?
It can happen. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it certainly happens to some. But it is temporary. That's the important distinction. Is that there are many side effects that disappear entirely, and then the medicine is quite helpful for those certain conditions.
What's that?
Yes.
She had problems sleeping, didn't she?
Yes.
Even after the Zoloft, right?
Yes.
So you, not her, you recommended a particular drug that she should take, right?
Yes.
And again, as it relates to what one would expect a young woman who's a labor and delivery nurse to know about psychiatric medication. What is methazine? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Methazine.
I'm not sure.
How about hermabate? B-A-T-E. H-E-R-M-A-B-A-T-E. How about that? You ever heard of that?
I'm not familiar with that.
That's what's used to administer to a woman who's going through birth. You don't have an obligation to know that, do you?
No.
You have an obligation to know about psychiatric medications, though, right?
Yes.
There's a difference between what's known as nescience, which is not knowing what you have no duty to know, and ignorance, which is you don't know what you should know. Is that fair?
Yes.
So, did you ever gauge Lindsay's knowledge or ability to judge what medication would be good for her?
So that was my role.
Right.
I didn't expect her to know significantly the details about different psychiatric medications.
Is it important to know that a woman that's coming to you because of postpartum issues, shall we say, had prior problems in prior deliveries?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that you're on the front line of health care for pregnant women when someone comes to see you, either pregnant or after having a baby, right?
They're usually referred by a therapist or an OB, but yes.
Okay. So being on the front line and dealing with these people, and you advertise that you deal with pregnant people before they have babies, right?
Yes.
And after, correct?
Yes.
Did she have any prior issues with her prior babies?
I knew that she had some anxiety symptoms with her prior, after her second child was born.
And that would be Dawson?
Yes.
And when she saw you after having Callan, how old was Dawson, if you know?
A few years old, maybe 2 or 3.
Did she tell you what the side effects were after she had Dawson?
She did. I did not list them because,
Excuse me, that means you didn't write them down?
yes.
So what is it, your memory that we'll go by that, right?
Sorry?
We'll go by your memory?
Go by memory about what? I don't recall exactly which side effects she said, but I recall that they were some of the very common ones, the ones that are temporary.
Hold on. You're telling this jury that you don't recall what the side effects were that she told you, but your memory is that they were general, common? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because if they were anything else, I would have documented it.
Well, how about she took Zoloft? Did she take Zoloft, SSRI, after having Dawson?
I think she took it for about a week.
You think? Or she did?
She did.
So isn't that something that would be indicative of the fact that there was some psychiatric issues after she had her second child?
Yes, but she did not describe them as being severe.
Well, as a psychiatrist, can you ask her whether or not they're severe, or you just wait for them to tell you?
Based on her description, they did not sound severe.
Tell me about bipolar. What's bipolar?
Bipolar is a mood disorder that has both depressive episodes as well as episodes of mania.
And is it your understanding that if a person has a difficult birth and in fact has some psychiatric attributes as a result of that difficult birth, that you should not prescribe SSRIs to that person because they could be bipolar?
Having a difficult birth does not, it's not a contraindication to an SSRI.
So after she had her second child, she took Zoloft, and you did not detail any side effects, and you don't remember any side effects. Do you agree that Lindsay had, at this point, a history of mental problems during postpartum?
She had a history of anxiety postpartum.
Anxiety to the point that she was prescribed an SSRI?
Yes.
And she also had mental problems when she came to see you, right?
Yes.
So she had mental problems after she had the second child, mental problems after she had the third child, correct?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that this is not easy stuff for somebody to be talking about. People get embarrassed in our society if they had mental problems, don't they?
Some do.
She did, didn't she?
I'm not sure.
So, not documenting any of the side effects, did you think it would be important to document the side effects of the drug before you prescribed Zoloft a second time? She's telling you that she had, you don't know, but she had side effects with Zoloft. Was it important for you to document the second time that you're giving her Zoloft?
I did not feel that it was necessary to document the specific side effects.
So if someone comes to you as a person who is in postpartum and is all the symptomology that she had related to you, that if she told you that she was on Zoloft after her second child and had side effects, you don't think it's important to document the side effects, number one, right?
It depends what the side effects are.
Which we don't know because you didn't write them down, you don't remember it.
I would have written them down if
No,
they
not
were.
what you would have done. What did you do?
No, overall. Go ahead.
I would have written them down
What
if
did you do?
I wrote that she had side effects.
What are they?
I'm not sure.
And then you prescribed Zoloft again, didn't you, in 2022?
Yes.
Do you recall in the period of September of 22, October of 22, into November of 22, that she used the word overwhelmed, told you that she was overwhelmed? Is that correct?
Sorry, which visit are we looking at?
Well, the period of time, September, October, November, did she use the terminology that she was overwhelmed?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were treating her, you didn't think that she was just merely overwhelmed with 3 children. You knew she was really struggling, didn't you?
I did.
And it was at that point that you diagnosed her with a psychiatric condition, and you prescribed psychiatric meds. Isn't that right?
I prescribe psychiatric medications, yes.
So when you prescribed the Zoloft and told her to increase it, she told you that she was having all these difficulties. You told her to stop. Did you give her therapy when you saw her?
Yes.
What did you do?
I think that I provided
Again, I
reassurance.
apologize, but not what you think. I want to know what you did. And that's why you write stuff down. So take your time and look at your notes. What did you do with this young woman for therapy?
On which day?
On what?
Which day are we talking about
When
specifically?
she came to you and told you that she was overwhelmed, and you diagnosed her with a mental illness and prescribed a psychiatric condition, the psychiatric meds. What therapy did you give her? Because you told us that when you're on the television, you still give them therapy too, right?
I do.
What did you do?
Well, I'm having trouble identifying exactly when she said the words overwhelmed. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly what I said in a span of, a number of different visits.
Did you indicate that there's information on the website that if a person has an emergency that they should do something?
I did, and I advised her the same.
So basically, if one of your patients becomes suicidal, and on that note, did she tell you at that point, up to November of 22, that she was dwelling on suicidal thoughts?
It was a while before she mentioned anything about suicidal thoughts.
Tell us when.
I might need to look through the records
right
to see
ahead.
when she first did. December 1st.
So on December 1st, what did she tell you?
That she denied feeling suicidal, but that she was close to feeling suicidal.
That's kind of like being a fisherman out in the ocean who's worried about the possibility of a storm and is thinking about the storm and is dwelling on the storm, almost in fear of the storm, right?
Objection.
No vote.
Isn't it?
I guess.
So when she tells you that she's, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, what did she say? She's having suicidal thoughts, or what did she say? All close to it?
She denied having suicidal thoughts, but felt that she was getting close to it.
Okay. So she was dwelling on it or thinking about it, right? Is that fair?
She was fearful of eventually having those kinds of thoughts.
To kill herself.
Yes.
And how frequently were the thoughts?
I'm not sure exactly how frequent they were.
Did you ask her?
It's
Sorry?
very likely that I did ask her the frequency.
Wouldn't that be in your medical records? I mean, you see some patients, you have some patients other than Lindsay Clancy at that point, right?
Yes.
And you document when a patient, my God, when a patient comes in and tells you that she's in postpartum distress and she's close to having suicide thoughts to kill herself, that's important, isn't it?
it's important that I am aware that she is having these thoughts,
What thoughts?
that she is fearful she could become suicidal.
And she told you, I imagine, or you asked, how frequently these thoughts were.
I don't have it documented how frequently they were, but that is a question that I usually ask when we're talking about suicidal
When we're
thoughts.
usually testifying on a murder case, we usually have facts that we can tell the jury, not speculation.
Objection.
Yeah, sustained.
Did she tell you, or did you ask about suicidal thoughts?
Yes.
What did she tell you? If you don't know, tell us.
No, I know, sorry, but it's what I said before, that that she denied having them, and she wasn't having them, we were meeting, but she felt close to it, close to having those thoughts.
Okay. So would you agree with me that many times patients, especially psychiatric patients, may minimize their symptomology?
Patients sometimes do.
And sometimes when a woman has just had a child and has other little kids at home, they're worried about the government taking kids away from them, because you're a mandated reporter, aren't you?
Objection.
It's just the overall.
You're a mandated reporter, aren't you?
I am.
And if she told you, I'm having suicidal thoughts, I'm close to it, and homicidal thoughts, you'd report that, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily. I think it really depends on the context, but having suicidal thoughts alone is not a reportable condition.
All right. So basically, we know that she was close to having suicidal thoughts to kill herself, whatever that means. We don't know how frequently she was having them. Yeah?
Today, I don't know how frequently, but at that point, I believe I did know how frequently they were.
Okay. So as a result of that, you then gave her therapy, I imagine, right? Through the television.
Yes.
And what therapy did you give her in November of 22?
I gave her supportive psychotherapy.
And what does that mean? It sounds great. What do you do?
It's listening to the patient and providing.
Sorry? Listening to the patient, like when they say they're having...
Hold on. Good. Sustained. Next question.
Well,
So-
she could finish the answer.
Right. Next question.
Thank you, Judge. Listening to the patient, that would be when, for example, one of your patients tells you, after all the treatment that you had provided prior to that, all the symptomology that she had, insomnia, anxiety, and all of that she's close to having suicidal thoughts. That would, I imagine, impact on you.
Yes.
So what did you do with this psychotherapy?
So I provided emotional support and validation and
What does that mean? Validation?
encouragement.
What does that mean?
Something like, I understand this is a very difficult time. It really, it varies on the individual.
Sure. How about Lindsay?
I don't remember the exact therapeutic words that I used.
Okay. How long did you give the therapy? Validation and all that stuff?
I don't remember exactly the duration.
Be about 10 minutes?
Maybe
Through the television, right?
through the computer.
So, as we pointed out, you tell the people that come to see you, when I say you, I mean collectively Astor Medical, that you would expect that if a person is in crisis, as you guys say, or is suicidal, that they would have to go to a computer or their cell phone, right? They would have to punch in your office, right? Look up the number.
We advise them to call 911 or go to the emergency room as quickly as possible.
How about suicide hotlines? Do you give them advice to call them?
That's an option as well, yes.
Sure. Did she call suicide hotlines?
I was not aware that she did.
Did you ever ask her?
I don't think I specifically asked that question.
Not specifically. Did you ask her anything? Did you beat around the bush maybe? You ask her anything about suicide hotlines?
I don't think I asked her about suicide hotlines.
Would it surprise you to know that she called suicide hotline in that time frame, not once, but twice, and was turned away? You guys were in the front line of this, aren't you?
No, overall.
It does surprise me, yes.
It does what?
It surprises me that she called them twice.
And you never asked her if she had ever called the suicide hotline, did you?
I don't think that I did.
I understand. You're a doctor. You were trying to do the right thing. You obviously, this is just horrible, isn't it?
Yes.
She continued on with her treatment with you, correct?
Yes.
What was the next medication that you put her on? Let's say we're up to, I guess it would be the October 26th date?
Yeah.
Is that right?
October 26th.
Is that when you prescribed Ativan?
I prescribed that on the 21st.
Sorry?
I prescribed the Ativan on the 21st.
All right. Did you prescribe anything on the October 26th appointment?
Yes.
And what was that?
Buspirone.
Buspirone. And would you agree with me is that also Vanspar?
Buspar or Buspirone are the common names for it.
Okay. You ever heard of Vanspar? V-A-N, V as in Victor, A-N-S-P-A-R? You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. And would you agree with me that there are a number of side effects of Buspirone?
Every medication has side effects, but
Okay, so my question is pretty simple. Buspirone, you mentioned it. I'm asking, any side effects?
yes.
What are the side effects?
They could be tiredness or dizziness or rarely some upset stomach, but it's generally a very, very well tolerated mild medicine.
And do you recall, was she taking any other medication at that point, if you know?
Yeah, she was taking some of the Ativan.
Some Ativan, right? Did you prescribe that to her?
Yes,
When did you prescribe the Ativan to her?
the 21st.
And she was compliant with your recommendations, right?
Yes.
Was she also reporting to you that she was taking Benadryl, it's like over-the-counter stuff?
It was being used as needed, yes.
So that's PRN, on the record is PRN or whatever, you take it as required, right?
Yes.
And she reported to you that she was taking Benadryl, right?
She reported that, yes.
And you didn't document how much she was taking, right?
It's only available as one dose over the counter.
Okay. Did she re-up the dose over the counter? Do you know?
She didn't tell me that she did.
Did you ask her?
I don't remember asking her about if she increased it. I think she was just taking one of them.
You think? Did you know that Ativan and Benadryl are contraindicated, that they can have a serious impact to the central nervous system and depressant effects?
Yes, but can I explain that when they say depressant?
Excuse me, the answer is yes, right? Is the answer yes?
Yeah, if the answer is yes, if that's the question, the Commonwealth may be able to ask you further questions if you'd
Okay.
like.
Well, I can't say yes to that entire statement.
All right. Next
Did
question.
you discuss anything about Benadryl combined with Ativan on October 26th?
I don't recall.
On October 26th, was she still worried about suicidal thoughts?
She denied that.
And on October 26th, how did she deny that? Is that, you have that noted in your record?
I do.
And what does it say?
Patient denies suicidal ideation.
Okay. So there's a huge difference between suicidal ideation and somebody having thoughts of suicide or being close to it, right?
Not exactly.
Well, you knew that the last time you spoke to the woman, she told you that she was close to having thoughts of killing herself, right?
Yes.
And you're her doctor, right?
Yes.
So what do? You just say, do you have, and check the box and say, do you have any suicidal ideation? And she says no, and you check the box?
No, it's not that simple.
Do you ask her, like, well, gee, the last time I spoke to you, you told me that you were close to having suicidal thoughts of killing yourself. Did you pursue that on the 26th of October?
Yes.
And what did she say?
That she wasn't.
Now, how long was that appointment, if you recall? Would you agree it was 17 minutes and then there was some therapy?
The entire appointment was something between 25 and 30 minutes.
And that was again through the television, right?
The computer, yes.
Computer. Did you also add a drug called hydroxyzine?
Yes.
When was that?
So that was the same visit as an alternative to the Benadryl.
Okay, so on October 26th, when she told you that she was taking over-the-counter Benadryl, I asked you what you prescribed to her, and you said Ativan, right? Right?
Yes.
And then I asked you about the contraindication of Ativan and Benadryl, right?
You asked me about that, yes.
And then you, on October 26th, started her on Buspar, correct?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of Buspar? Is that for anxiety?
Yes.
And what kind of drug is Buspar?
It doesn't really fall into a class, but it does act on serotonin.
So it's another, similar to an SSRI, right?
It's kind of like a more mild version of an SSRI.
Okay. So she's on Benadryl over-the-counter, Ativan, which is a benzodiazepine, Buspar, which is an SSRI, and then you prescribe hydroxyzine on the same day, right?
They weren't all to be taken at the same time.
What's hydroxyzine?
Hydroxyzine is an antihistamine.
Okay. Is that over-the-counter, or is that, can you just buy that over-the-counter, or do you have to go to the back where the pharmacist is?
You have to go to the pharmacist.
Okay. And as far as you're concerned, she was taking the medications as she was required, right?
That's what I was told.
I'm sorry?
Yes, that's what I was told.
Did you, by her?
Yes.
And did you at any time tell her that she should keep a diary of her medications and keep a diary of any side effects that she has?
I didn't instruct her to do that.
You don't have to instruct somebody to do anything, but did you recommend it? Like say, hey, if you're on all these meds, if you're having an effect, you should write it down. When, time, date, anything like that?
I didn't tell her to do that.
Would that be helpful?
Maybe, but usually we go through all of that in the appointments, and we met very frequently.
Now, you'd agree with me that at this point, prior to the next appointment, which was November 2nd, she had gotten significantly worse, even after all this medication that you had been prescribing, right? Did you make a note that she was telling you that she had depression and that she was crying, had more anxiety, insomnia had increased, brain fog, and worrying about suicide?
In the couple weeks after starting those medicines, I don't recall that the symptoms were significantly exacerbated.
Okay. Friday afternoon, you answered the DA and you said that you recall that she used the word brain fog, right?
She used that at some point. I don't recall when.
Okay, what is brain fog?
It's a very subjective feeling that someone might have where maybe it's, hard to think of a word that you're trying to think of, or maybe it feels like, maybe you're thinking of things a little bit more slowly than you normally would.
And how often was she dwelling on suicide?
At what point?
At the point she told you that she had anxiety, insomnia, brain fog, crying inconsolably.
Objection, if we could have a date.
I think he's going to get to that. Go ahead.
October 26th, heading into November 2nd. Do you recall, I'll rephrase it, do you recall going into the November month, meeting with her, and she told you that she had brain fog?
It was mentioned at some point. I
Okay.
don't see that on the 26th specifically.
All right, so let's talk about brain fog. Did you ask her what that meant? Because when you say subjective, that means that's her interpretation. That's in her head. She's telling you, right?
Yes.
As opposed to objective, which would be what people in general would think, right?
Yes.
So when she's telling you, in addition to the anxiety, in addition to the crying, in addition to the stress that she was undergoing, she was worrying about suicide, she talked about brain fog. So you must have asked her, what does that mean? Subjectively, what does that mean?
Subjectively means in the patient's, own opinion, that's what their experience is.
Okay, so she's the one that's inside her head, right?
Yes.
So what were the symptoms? What is it? When a patient tells you that they have brain fog, is that something you would consider as being a potential side effect of the medications that you would put her on?
It depends.
On what?
I mean, sometimes it could be, and sometimes it could be unrelated. It's a symptom of depression as well. So sometimes it's hard to tell what it's attributed to.
So at this point, heading into November, your answer was to prescribe more medication, 3 more drugs, right? You prescribed Ativan, or increased the Ativan. What was her load for Ativan at this point? Do you remember?
Sorry?
What was her milligrams, if that's right, or nanograms, whatever it is, on the Ativan, on the script that you had provided her?
Objection, if we could just have a date.
I think she said, no, if you can answer that, go ahead.
Which date are we referring to for the Ativan? Because there were. I'm sorry.
She already objected. He already said you can answer it. When did you increase her Ativan and to what level?
So she was prescribed Ativan 0.5 milligrams.
Right.
And then when I next saw her, she said it was a little bit helpful. So I said you could increase it and see if 1 milligram is more helpful.
Did she increase it?
Yes.
And when was the next time you saw her to talk to her on the television or on the computer?
Well, I saw her on the 26th, and then I saw her on the 31st. I'm sorry.
How was she on the 31st? Halloween.
Sorry.
How was she?
That's not my note. That's her therapy note.
Okay. So how about this November 2nd? Was that the next time you saw her?
I saw her on November 2nd.
And she told you that she was hesitant to use the medications, the Buspar and the hydroxyzine, right?
She said she was hesitant to try the Buspar.
She was scared of the drug. She was scared of the drugs, right?
She was afraid to take a medication.
She wasn't doctor shopping and asking you to give her drugs so she could get high. She was asking you for help. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And she was afraid to take the drugs and told you that she was afraid to take the drugs, right?
She told me she was afraid to take the buspirone.
Did you advise her or counsel her or give her therapy about that? Validations?
Yes.
And what did you tell her?
Well, I advised her of, the risks.
What were the risks?
Well, the risks of medicine, like we had said, sedation or dizziness.
Okay. How about interfering with sleep?
Buspirone doesn't usually interfere with sleep.
Not usually? Did you ask her about any thoughts of suicide or being close to having thoughts of suicide?
Yes.
Did she indicate to you that she had any thoughts of suicide at all?
Not at that date.
Did she use those words, or is that a box that you checked off?
I don't remember her exact words, but we talked about suicide or, thoughts of hurting yourself.
Right. And there's a distinction between, in your records and the notation, between suicidal ideation and I quote, worrying about, thinking about suicide. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And what did she mean when she told you, as her doctor, that she was worrying about, thinking about suicide?
You mean in the prior appointment?
I'm talking about a woman that's sitting in front of you on your television or your computer telling you that she was worried about thinking about suicide.
Well, on the second, she didn't say that.
Okay. When was the next time that she told you that she was worried about or thinking about or suicidal ideation?
That was the December 1st visit.
Okay. So go back to the November 2nd visit. Would you agree with me that she, after you talked with her for that period, however long it was, that you then brought up 4 medications to her, recommending that they might be safer, and I quote, safer alternatives? Would you agree with that?
I see the word alternatives, not safer alternatives.
Do you remember talking to her about Remeron?
Yes.
Did you recommend that she take Remeron?
No.
Did you ever prescribe Remeron?
No.
And is that mirtazapine, as far as its generic name?
Yes.
And Remeron is an antidepressant, isn't that right?
Yes.
And you did not feel that that would be an appropriate medication for her to take at that time?
It was a very reasonable option, but we didn't decide to start it.
So is this a collaboration? In other words, you and the patient, you would both make a decision as to when to start a drug? Or is it your decision and advice to the patient?
Well, it's ultimately my decision, but the patient's thoughts about the matter are very important. At the end of the day, the patient has to go home and take it themselves. I'm not there to ensure that that is happening or not.
So you had a November 22nd appointment, right?
Yes.
And it was at that time that she told you that she had been to see South Shore Perinatal Clinic, right?
Yes.
And did she tell you why she was seeing someone from the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
I think she told me that it was because they were exclusively focused on treating perinatal conditions.
Yeah, but so were you, right?
Not exclusively. I'm a general psychiatrist.
I see. And did she mention the name of any doctor or nurse practitioner that she was seeing at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
Yes.
Who'd she mention?
I think she said something about Julie.
Paul?
Yes.
Okay. And a woman by the name of Nurse Gelada?
I heard her name a little bit later, but
Okay.
yes.
Did she advise that, in fact, by script, she was using Ativan and Benadryl, and you told her to taper off the Ativan at that appointment, right? Had she tapered off the Ativan?
I think I had told her I gave her a prescribed taper prior to that appointment.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You gave her a prescribed taper?
So I told her that she should reduce her dose by 0.25 milligrams every 2 weeks until the medication was stopped.
Did she do that?
I mean, I don't believe that she completely stopped it, no.
No? You don't believe, or she didn't?
Well,
Trying to give the jury facts.
Yeah, she said she was taking Ativan, so no, she didn't completely stop it.
Had she tapered?
I'm not sure how much she had reduced the dose because I wasn't prescribing it again.
Right. So, did you know that she had been, or had she been, to any emergency wards between that period of time that you last saw her and when you were seeing her on this meeting?
I know she went to the ER, but I think it was after that.
Okay, which ER did she go to, do you know?
I think she went to Mass General.
Do you know why she went to the ER?
Because of depression.
So, was she treated at the ER? Did they make any, to your knowledge, as her doctor, make any recommendations?
I'm not sure what they told her, but they ultimately
Go ahead.
Discharged her. They didn't admit her.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all right. Was she put on any medication?
Not from the ER.
When you looked at the records from South Shore Perinatal Clinic, what did they indicate about suicidal ideation, worrying about suicide, close to suicide, anything?
I didn't have access to those records.
You're going to keep your voice up so everybody can hear you. You what?
I did not have access to those records
None.
because we're a completely separate clinic.
Seriously?
Objection.
She's visiting with you as a patient and you can't access her medical records? Is what you're telling this jury?
I did not have access to them, no.
Could she have signed a release, a HIPAA form?
Yes, she could have.
And you could have got the records,
Yes.
but you didn't.
I did not feel like it was necessary because she provided all the relevant information about her treatment there.
How do you know? She's got mental disease and she's suing you and she's on all this cocktail of drugs. How do you know that she is an accurate historian at this point in her life?
It felt very accurate when she was able to recall the names of the medicines, doses of the medicines, specific days. She provided a lot of incredibly detailed information. So it showed me she was capable of doing that.
So when you talked to her husband, Pat, how many times did you talk to her husband, Pat?
I think
The guy was living with her.
I think it was once.
And he came to your office, right? No, he didn't. He got on the television or on the computer screen, right?
Yes.
And when was that?
I think it was the December 16th visit.
So let's...
Reddington, before we get to that,
Okay.
probably a good spot to stop. We're going to take the morning recess, and then we'll come right back.